Well, folks, it finally happened. The man who loves telling people, "You're fired," just got served a bigly old plate of beautiful but yet strange notion called accountability. That's right, Donald John Trump, the 45th President of the United States, is now officially a convicted criminal. Another glowing accomplishment to add to his Wikipedia page reading: Trump is the only president to have been impeached twice, in 2019 to 20 for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress after he pressured Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden, and in 2021 for incitement of insurrection. But who would have thought that a guy who built his brand on being rich and powerful, gold toilets and all, would end up like this? It's almost too perfect. You know things are bad when even your spray tan is running for the hills. This wasn't just some parking ticket or an overdue library book situation. We're talking about a Manhattan jury finding Trump guilty on 34 felony counts. This is huge. Oh wait, Wikipedia just updated Trump's bio to say, in May 2024, he became the first US president to be criminally convicted on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in connection with a hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. Ooh, snap! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 34 counts. It's like the man tripped and fell into a pile of indictments and somehow managed to get covered in every single one. The news sent shockwaves across the country, with Trump supporters crying, literally, witch hunt, fake news, political hit job, deep state, banana republic, George Soros, you know, all the usual tropes. I know. Yawn. Boring. And the rest of us? Well, the rest of us are struggling to pick our jaws up off the floor. Father Teresa. Yeah, that's what the MAGA cult calls Trump, is like an old tabby with 9 lives. Some of us assumed it was going to be a hung jury situation. Trump himself thought he would get off per usual. I mean, who dozes off and let out big stinky farts during their trial proceedings? And if that weren't disrespectful enough toward Judge Juan Merchan, as soon as he got out of the courtroom, like a little whiny toddler, Trump or his many minions, some paid by our tax dollars, performed the usual Trump is a victim press conferences / clown show. Then as soon as the white Nelson Mandela got home, he jumped on Truth Social to throw incoherent digs at the judge, his staff, and his daughter, in capital letters. Punctuation marks being optional. Well folks, it looks like New Yorkers were always going to do the most New Yorker thing, which was keeping it real and unbothered when handling the Trump trial. It was also completed expeditiously despite the pushback and threats coming from the Don himself, his legions of minions, and Fox News, his mouthpiece. This was a historic moment, no doubt, and one that raised a whole bunch of questions about Trump's future in American politics. I mean, the man is a Republican presidential nominee for the 2024 election in November. Buckle up, folks, because things are about to get interesting. I mean, who needs Netflix when you have American politics? Am I right? Or am I right? Let's rewind a bit, shall we? The road to Trump's conviction is paved with questionable decisions and enough scandal to make your head spin.
It all started, well, officially at least, with a certain adult film star named Stormy Daniels. Remember her? Word on the street was that Trump and Stormy had a little rendezvous back in the day. The tea, according to Stormy, was this: 27-year-old Stormy meets the 60-year-old Donald at an event in Lake Tahoe in 2006. Stormy noted that Trump was the same age as her father. It was totally gross for Stormy, but still not a deal breaker because she really wanted to be on The Apprentice. Trump invites Stormy for dinner at his hotel. Stormy knocks on Trump's hotel suites. He opens the door wearing silk pajamas, like he was Hugh Hefner's rotund knockoff or something. He ended up changing into regular clothes after getting mercilessly teased by Stormy. Long story short, after a 2-hour tete-a-tete, Trump made his move, and they had sex. Somewhere amid the lackluster encounter with, a thingy that was smaller than average and shaped like a toadstool, according to Ms. Daniels, Stormy spanked Donnie with a magazine. You guessed it right. Trump was on the cover. At that time, Trump's wife Melania had just given birth to baby Barron. Allegedly, Trump did not care whether Melania ever found out about the Stormy affair. She could kick rocks for all he cared. As he assured his former fixer, Michael Cohen, "Don't worry. How long do you think I will be on the market for? Not long." Yep. Trump was not trying to be best for his wife. But things got sticky for Trump when the affair threatened to derail his presidential campaign. Trump allegedly told his lawyer, Michael Cohen, to make it go away. And by make it go away, I mean pay her a hefty sum of hush money right before the 2016 election. Because nothing says I'm definitely not guilty, like trying to silence someone with a big pile of cash totaling $130,000. Of course, things got messy, as they often do with Trump, and the whole thing spiraled into a legal battle royale. Enter the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, led by the Manhattan DA, Mr. Alvin Bragg, stage left, ready to throw down some justice. They launched an investigation, things got heated, and before you know it, Trump was facing multiple charges related to the alleged hush money scheme. It was like watching a slow-motion train wreck, except the train was made of bad decisions, and the only passenger was Donald Trump.
Now, 34 felony charges might seem like a lot, and trust me, it is. That's more charges than there are flavors of ice cream at your local Baskin-Robbins.
So what exactly did Trump do to rack up such an impressive rap sheet? Well, the charges include falsifying business records, conspiracy, and even campaign finance violations. Basically, they're saying that Trump used his company's money to cover up this Stormy Daniels situationship, and then lied about it to make it seem like it never happened. He was running for president of the highest office in the great land of the United States of A. He was not going to let a little 5-minute hanky-panky with a porn star derail his aspirations. It's like a bad reality TV show plot, except it's real life and the stakes are way higher. Each charge carries its own potential penalties, but taken together, they paint a pretty damning picture of Trump's actions. According to legal experts, the sentence for these charges could range from probation to 20 years in the big house. But being cynical of our legal system and how it has always favored Mr. Trump, I'm going to predict that he would get probation. And the worst-case scenario is house arrest at his gaudy seaside hotel Mar-a-Lago, and Trump has the right to appeal the verdict. As you know, appealing is Trump's favorite hobby, so of course he has already vowed to do just that. Folks, if your granny is a die-hard and broke Trump supporter, please lock up her social security checks. Also, be on the lookout for an email or a call with plenty of small prints. That will put the fear of Trump on Granny, ordering her to send all her life savings to the Trump Legal Fund. Apparently, America needs to be saved, urgently, and Granny must do as told or else Trump will be notified. Anywho, the whole scenario is not a good look for Trump, folks, so 34 charges. That's a whole lot of guilt.
Here's where things get really wild and confusing. In America, being convicted of a felony comes with a whole bunch of consequences. You lose your right to vote, you might have trouble finding a job, and good luck trying to rent an apartment. It's rough out there for a felon.
But here's the kicker. None of that applies to running for president. Yep, you heard that right. You can be a convicted felon, fresh out of prison, and still throw your hat in the ring as the next occupant of the White House. Yes, a convicted felon can become Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States. But according to 10 U.S.C. 504, any person who is a convicted felon is prohibited from enlisting in any military service. Make it make sense.
It's enough to make you wonder who wrote these rules while you were pulling your hair out. I mean, this is America, and not one of those countries that we love to plunder coltan, tantalum, and copper from for our iPhones number 15, 16. Whatever version it is currently, hard to keep up. Apple got us in a bye chokehold. I mean, can you believe we put a man on the moon, but we can't figure out if convicted criminals should be allowed to lead the country? It's mind-boggling. Seriously, America, what's up with these laws? A convicted felon can run for president, but they can't vote for themselves? That's like being allowed to be a judge of a food competition, but prohibited from tasting the food. Pure insanity, I tell you. It makes absolutely no sense.
The Founding Fathers must be spinning in their graves right now. They fought for freedom and justice. And we ended up with a system where a guy can be found guilty of multiple felonies and still potentially become the leader of the free world? Something's not adding up here. As the kids would say, the math is not mathing.
It's like we're living in a real-life episode of The Twilight Zone. Except instead of Rod Serling narrating, it's just the constant sound of our heads exploding from trying to understand the logic. Now let's talk about Trump's reaction to the verdict. Was he remorseful? Did he accept responsibility for his actions? Because apparently President Biden has nothing better to do than meddle in the legal affairs of his predecessor. Oh, and right on cue, the thorn in MAGA's flesh, the grand wizard of the deep state, George Soros, was naturally to blame for sponsoring the hit job. It's the same old playbook from Trump. deny, lie, deflect, and blame everyone but himself for the mess he is in. As predictable as the wetness in water, Donald Trump spoke briefly outside the court, arguing that he had been unfairly treated and that it should have been a non-case. He criticized Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg for bringing it to court. This was a disgrace, this was a rigged trial, he said. The Mega King moved his pity party on Truth Social, where he goes on a wild rant talking about, "It is ridiculous, unconstitutional, and un-American that the highly conflicted radical left judge is not requiring a unanimous decision on the fake charges against me brought by Soros-backed DA Alvin Bragg, a third world election interference hoax." Obviously Trump was truthing big fat lies. Google had no choice but to cross out the tweet, truth, or whatever they call it, with a big red X, meaning the whole thing was a damn lie.
The shtick is getting old, Donald. It's like watching a toddler at a mall throw a big old tantrum just because mommy didn't want to buy him a Baby Shark stuffed toy. We've all seen it before. It is not cute, and frankly, we're over it.
Hey, did I mention that you are amazing? Thank you for watching. Your support is appreciated. Please subscribe to our channel, follow, like, and share our content on Instagram, Facebook page, Pendoloveamore.com, TikTok, threads at Pendoloveamore. Visit us on our website, Pendoloveamore.com. Oh, and elevate your style at shop.Pendoloveamore.com.
Yes, do it today. We guarantee you won't regret it. Unless you're allergic to laughter, style, knowledge, and fun. We've got content so good it's like a hug for your funny bone and a high five for your soul.